Let's freaking go. Welcome, PHL live stream. It's going to be very recruiting heavy tonight. A very happy Saturday to you all. Now, of course, the big news from this weekend was Brian Kelly setting the recruiting world on storm with Jackson Howard. But look, there's been a lot of schools that have gotten some good commitments. You saw Georgia pick up a good commitment. You've seen all these other schools. But what is going to change LSU football over the next 72 hours will be 3 more commitments, hopefully, from defensive linemen. That includes Joshua Mickens, who commits tomorrow, and on Monday, Deshaun Womack and Darren Reed will make their announcements clear. So that is where we're going to focus most of this evening. Today, I've been doing some research on defensive line prospects. It is very interesting which schools are actually good at recruiting defensive linemen and which ones aren't. I was kind of shocked that there is one historical power that misses on a lot of DLs, and it's not LSU. It's somebody else. So obviously we have a lot to get to, right? Really excited about the potential of Darren Reed. So a lot of you watched our video from yesterday, Jackson Howard. I think he's really good. I think Darren Reed is special. Out of the 4, I like him the most. I'll tell you why throughout tonight's live stream. But I do want to say to everyone, and I understand that, I made this point clear on Friday night in our Jackson Howard deep dive. The sky is not falling, okay? As much as the Derek Williams story was, for me, the sky is not falling. Just because LSU picked up one commitment in Jackson Howard really doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things. But if you land 4 big-time lineman-esque pass rusher type of players, that is huge. That is absolutely huge. There's no other way to slice it. We say hi to my buddy Blake. We say hi to Normal Guy. We say hi to Mick. We say hi to Skipper, Tony, Jared, Doug, good to see you. Akon and LGZ. Everyone, welcome Leslie. She can never make a live stream. She lives a very busy life. She just joined the PHL T-shirt club. Delton, what's good? Tony, Mick, Old Vet, I love you, man. You watch pretty much every video. Chris, one of the sharpest LSU minds. We're so happy to have him here. Lil Height, good to see you. But the bottom line is just this, okay? It's okay if you feel like some of the LSU media earlier this week that the sky was falling. There was a lot of fans that felt this way. I am a straight shooter. I will tell you when things are bad, right? But I still go back to it. The Derek Williams overreaction is still the craziest thing. And I know Blake wasn't a Derek Williams overreactor. And I just never understood it. I am one of those people that is never going to overreact to a commitment or decommitment when signing day is 7 years away, right? So it is pretty nuts. The Master Blaster. What's up, man? Good to see you, Tony. Mac, what's good? Let's go. Let's go. Really excited about this. So, once again, I want to shout out our friends, Prezi Collection, PreziCollection.com. Oh, yeah. Only trusted them with the most important thing in my life. My engagement ring to my dear beloved Hay. Prezi Collection, PreziCollection.com. Okay. Trio, good to see you. So, there you go. Now, this is the truth. All right. I know a lot of you are here tonight to talk about recruiting. Deshaun Womack, hopefully committing to LSU on Blake's show on Monday night. Pretty excited about that. I will be tuning in for sure. Joshua Mickens tomorrow. Darren Reed, that's my big one. All 4 of these guys can be special. Now, here's the thing, okay? This is the truth. I'm an LSU football channel. there are different aspects of LSU football. Some of you do not like recruiting. Okay. You just don't. And I get it, right? There's a lot about recruiting that you don't like. I feel some of our older viewers don't like recruiting, but it's kind of shocking how many younger people don't like recruiting. And it makes perfect sense. Doesn't matter how old or young you are. I get it. Why are we overreacting to non-binding agreements made months? Like they can't sign until December. Why are we worried about all of that? So here's what we'll do. I am going to talk about recruiting a lot tonight because that is the hottest story. I did a full week of running back videos, had one of the best running backs to ever play in the SEC on the channel. And I put 1,000 of hours into a lot of my running back research stuff. It does not move the needle like recruiting. I wish it was the other way around. I don't like recruiting. So I don't like the ins and outs of recruiting, the BS that goes along with it. I don't like the mudslinging that happens in comment sections. So here's what I'll do. If you are here for non-recruiting coverage, feel free to super chat. Feel free to super chat if you have a recruiting question. But if you don't want me just to talk about recruiting tonight, this is as much of a live stream about everything LSU football. If you want to talk about the greatness of La'el Collins, feel free to super chat. I'll talk about La'el Collins. I was watching his tape earlier today, and my goodness gracious, I feel he is underrated. I know everyone knows him as one of the best, but I still feel he's underrated. So it's true. Okay. Now, we will mostly, though, focus on recruiting. Okay. So the key thing here, right? I feel pretty good about Deshaun WOMACK. Jaden Wayne commitment on July 9th. Don't worry about that one. That's just not going to happen. It's just not. So, yeah, we'll see what happens there. Okay. Lots of defensive linemen. Now, as crazy as this sounds, I don't think this is going to be the only 4 defensive linemen they're going to go after. I think they might get 2 more. I don't think they're done, right? First off, I say defensive lineman. The jack linebacker is the outside linebacker DN hybrid, right? That position could be really hard to project, but that position is very different than the other 3 defensive line positions that you play in a 3-man front, right? I am not sold on LSU being fully confident with the bodies that they have to have long-term depth to run that kind of front, right? I could see this being a 6 defensive lineman class. I really could. If you expect all 4 of these guys, I don't think LSU's done there. I think they are going to push to get a true zero tech nose. That kid out of South Carolina that weighs like 320. I think they're going to try and get one more. I think this could be a 5 defensive lineman class, especially considering Louisiana isn't that deep on the defensive line. Honestly, probably Lance Hurd's the best defensive lineman in the class, and he plays offensive line. So I think this is going to be a 5 to 6 defensive line class. Okay, where you are really trying to get that zero tech now. So what does that mean exactly? Well, it's better to explain in a film study, and we will be doing that coming up on the channel. A zero tech is like a Tyler Shelvin, Siaki Ika. For you old schoolers, Ted Washington, Vince Wilfork, and Belichick's defenses. Those are the guys that play in the middle and just eat up space, right? So I do think LSU is going to try and get one of those guys. Still, we shall see what happens. Recruiting is a very weird thing. People have different evaluations of different players. Man, I just hope the Darren Reed thing comes through. I do. Feel pretty good about WOMACK. I do. for a lot of different reasons. Won't get into all of them, but I do feel pretty good about him. Joshua Mickens, I feel pretty good about. Tomorrow, the young man out of Indianapolis, 6'4", 225, can shoot gaps in the running game, can bend, has a lot of athletic ability. I also think something else about this class is it's a very deep edge prospect 2023 class. So there's a lot of edge guys to go around, right? That is in this 6'2 to 6'6, 220, like 215, 220, all the way up to like 250 body type. I think there's a lot of them in this class. And I think that's part of the reason why you see so many. But still, okay? Now, some of you want to talk about offensive line. The big Jaden Wayne domino, he's a defensive lineman, but the Jaden Proctor kid went to Iowa. LSU really wasn't in it. That 5-star at IMG Academy, he's probably not going to, I mean, he's not going to pick LSU. But there's a lot of good defensive, offensive linemen. The Basantis kid out of Chase Basantis out of New Jersey, a top 100 guy, visited LSU. You had the Washington kid from South Carolina film his entire visit. And we'll see what happens there. There's a lot of dominoes to fall. Okay? And then we have Tyree Adams, the young man out of St. Aug High School, right? I won't get into what he tweeted out today. If you want to see it, go to @PowerHourLSU on Twitter. He retweeted a Florida account that said, "We're not getting this guy." And he included Florida in his top 4. But we shall see what happens there. I feel pretty good about it. Obviously, he's at St. Aug. LSU St. Aug history is well noted. LSU St. Aug influence on the staff is well noted. Obviously, with Frank Wilson being from that high school, amongst others on that staff. So, Tyree Adams, we shall see what happens there. I feel pretty good about LSU landing him. So this is going to be a very lineman-heavy class. Now, why is that important? Okay. As many of you know, I am currently building our Patreon community. It will probably launch in the next 24 to 48. I'm putting the finishing touches to it. And what I decided to do was go back and rewatch every single game. And we just hit 100 viewers. Please hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell. It goes a long way helping build this channel. Feel free to super chat, Venmo, Cash App, that helps grow the channel. And I'm rocking my PHL shirt. You should rock yours as well. Just follow the instructions if you want to join the PHL T-shirt club tonight. Okay? Now, obviously, Brian Kelly does his own evaluations, okay? And what I decided to do was, for the Patreon, I decided to rewatch as many games as I possibly could, okay? And as I rewatched games, it does help when you've rewatched a game a few times. You see where exactly LSU was good and where they were bad. Okay? We say hi to, what's up, Trent? Chance, good to see you. Jordan and LA Mom, 2 new members of the PHL T-shirt club. We'll get to Shelton Sampson in just a second. But let me address this really quickly, right? Brian Kelly is putting an emphasis on the offensive line in this class. Well, I went back and I rewatched all the games, rewatched all of them for running back week. And, you know, it takes time. I didn't see every play. Some of them were just highlight footage tapes. But what's very interesting is when I watched, I saw how badly LSU was struggling on the offensive line. Now, I'm going to defend the 5 people that played on the LSU offensive line last year. It did not help that the offense was very complicated. It did not help that Max Johnson was really banged up and a very middle-of-the-road quarterback. It did not help that Kayshawn got hurt, and it did not help that the play calling wasn't great. Now, with that said, I felt as if the offensive line really stunk at 3 positions, at left tackle, at center, and right guard, to the point where the already complicated LSU offensive line was not giving us a chance to bring consistency and fluidity to our offense, where it started affecting play calling. And it started affecting a lot of what LSU was trying to do offensively. Then I started to see that LSU's blocking at wide receiver started to disintegrate this past year really badly. Okay? I know predictability played a big role in this, but outside of Ed Ingram and Austin Deculus, we were painfully inconsistent up front. Painfully. And I started looking and I said, wow, if I didn't know anything about LSU football, I would look at the offensive line and say, we can't win with that much inconsistency. And then you would see Ed Ingram struggle at times, and Austin Deculus honestly was pretty decent last year overall. So I was like, if I'm Brian Kelly, I'm sure as heck addressing these offensive lines. And that's what he's been doing. He's trying to get some of these out-of-state guys, this is a sore subject, but the Tristan Lees of the world actually try and land some of these guys. The guys that Alabama gets, the guys that Ohio State gets, the J.C. Lathams, the Jedrick Wills. Okay, you might not get Kelvin Banks. The guys that LSU were in it for, but were we ever really in it? It was a lot worse than what I initially thought. And I do 1,000 film studies. I rewatch every game. But if you go back and just watch it consistently, and what really started to open my eyes was watching, I've watched a lot of Ethan Posick and Lyle Collins and Will Blackwell, a lot of these really good interior offensive linemen. And I saw what those guys did well, and I saw how consistent those guys were. We were painfully inconsistent, and that was a big issue. So I see why Brian Kelly is making a point to try and get some of these really good out-of-state offensive linemen. And quite frankly, we've missed on a lot. We've missed, whether it be development or whatever. Kentucky Fried Chicken. Rick, good to see you. There's another T-shirt club member right there. Beat you with execution. It's true. Kadiri, what's up, man? Let's see here. But yeah, I could see offensive line being a sore subject, right? It was pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Al, good to see you. And Ricky Collins. There we go. First super chat of the evening. Thank you so much, Max. Tari, I appreciate you. John, good to see you. This could be worse. We could be Napier losing his 5-star transfer running back and then starting to beg for the money and all that song and dance. All right. I love this comment. So maybe DeMarcus Bowman is just a guy, right? So that was their 5-star running back. Maybe he's just a guy. You go to Clemson, doesn't work out. Go to Florida, it doesn't work out. You don't ever even really suit up for a game. It might actually be you that's the problem. So I'll defend Billy Napier there. I'll also defend Billy Napier just a little bit here. I know that 3-star offensive lineman committed not too long ago. Then he started doing some recruiting for Florida. Then he's decommitting and near 1,000% flipping to Miami. The Rashada thing, I don't think that was as big of a deal. I'm always going to defend coaches that have not coached a game yet when it comes to recruiting because so much is changing. But the guy that's killing him in recruiting right now is also not coached a game in Miami, and that's Mario Cristobal. Maybe Mario Cristobal is a little bit better than we give him credit for, right? Everyone, welcome Chad to the channel. Chad and I have been friends for a while. Good to have him here. D. Granger, good to see you. But you know what, Max? I'm going to defend Billy. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm from Baton Rouge. Most of my family lives in Baton Rouge and New Roads, Louisiana. Okay. I have family that lives in Lafayette, but I don't really have many ties to the UL Raging Cajuns. I love the school. I like Billy Napier. I think he's fine. I really do. Buzzcut Billy. I'm a buzzcut kind of guy myself. I need to get one. I'm going to defend him. The only thing I wouldn't have done, though, is release the letter. I thought the letter looked kind of bad, right? Whenever you release a letter before you actually coach a game, here's the thing. You can get on Billy Napier all you want for not hitting on all these recruits, because the reason why you were hired to coach at Florida is recruiting. That's why you hire this guy, because Dan Mullen wasn't good at recruiting, and Florida is now getting all these decommitments, and they didn't land Jaden Rashada, and I know they lost that offensive lineman today. I think they lost another lineman. They obviously lost Bowman. I mean, it's too much to count. And what's interesting is, like, Twitter will show you a bunch of tweets that the algorithm is really pushing. And it is shocking how many Florida tweets I see that doesn't paint Florida in a good light, and it's from their own fan base. So what does that tell you? That maybe Florida's a problem. Maybe Florida's not what we think it is. Maybe the Herbert Meyer guy was just really good, right? I mean, Dan Mullen wasn't a bad coach. He just got driven insane by the recruiting. And really, when you think about it, okay, go look at Florida, right? Florida State sucks. Miami sucks. They've not been good, but it's not necessarily for them missing out on recruits, right? Florida State's recruiting hasn't been as good as it was under Jimbo, but it's not like they just whiff. I mean, they still recruit okay, and Miami still recruited okay. The truth is, it's tougher to win there now because, well, Alabama's done pretty well in Florida, and nationally, Florida recruits have gone around the country. But it's kind of crazy. Florida wasn't like a super big winner before Spurrier, though, right? Now, their athletics program is really good. They have won a lot of national championships in a bunch of different sports. Their big three programs have had highs and lows. But maybe they have fallen behind. Now, here's what I'll say. You won't see me shedding any tears for Florida. Ironically, I don't mind Auburn. A&M's not the absolute worst thing. Florida, I just can't stand. Could be that my visit there was rough. Could be that the visit I went to Gainesville was the 08 game. The Brandon Spikes punting the football into the stands game. We shall see. Let's check in on the poll question tonight. Thank you so much, Max. Let's see who's going to match Max. Okay? Which side of the ball needs to be addressed more in recruiting for 2023? Which side of the ball? I don't know. Type O for O, type D for D. Which side of the football needs to be addressed more? Who that dude? That is not the answer to this question. You have two options. Which side of the football? Because honestly, both sides need to be addressed in every recruiting class. Which side of the football needs more help for 2023? Type O for O, type D for D. Oh. Skipper, good to see you. D, what's up, KMC? Special teams, I like it. Jeezy, Mike, Valenti, and Chris, two of our smartest viewers. FACP. O, D, O. You'll have to disagree with this. That is not based on truth. It's really offense that wins championships. It does. Now, of course, Georgia's defense is what propelled them to a championship this past year, and that was their stronger side of the ball. But I don't know if that's the norm. Offense wins championships. And you still got to average 6.2 yards per play to make it to the college football playoff. Georgia's offense was low-key explosive. Okay? They could get vertical. They also got a lot of explosive plays in the running game. Pierce says O, Tony O. Lots of O's. D and D. So, I'll give you my answer. Okay. I'm actually going to say defense as well, right? So, obviously, I am assuming, and Jordan brought this up earlier, Jordan H. Okay. We have got, and I mean, we have just got to rebuild the secondary. Now, I know LSU's got a bunch of defensive line commitments heading their way. I know they have a bunch of defensive back commitments lined up, and they are young at linebacker as an off-ball linebacker. So defense looks okay, but I still think they need to get more DBs in this class. Some bona fide traditional corners. I know Dalen Austin's a traditional corner. I'd love for them to get a few more. Now, there are some talented quarters in 2023, but I still think that secondary needs to be rebuilt. Whereas on the offensive side of the ball, the offensive line needs a lot of help. Okay? Now, type Y for yes, type N for no. Marcus Dumerville is an SEC starter. Type Y for yes, type N for no. Marcus Dumerville is an SEC starter. Okay. Y for yes, N for no. Former 4-star, former top 150. Stamps young man from Rummel. 3-star safety. Corner, potentially. I have a feeling Mac's going to join the PHL T-shirt club tonight. LGZ. I love the photo change, man, with the doggo. No, I got to prove it. Y for yes, N for no. Do you believe Marcus Dumerville is going to be a future SEC starter? There's Chris in his PHL T-shirt. There's LGZ in his PHL T-shirt. Oh, this is one of my favorite photos right here. Me and Jared. I love this. I think I saw Jared in here a little bit earlier. Love it. More PHL meetups on the way. There's Aaron, T-Pain, and Prez. There's Rick right there. Rick in his PHL shirt. Gotta love it. I want to show you this. It's one of my favorite viewers right here, Desmond. Look at that tattoo. I love it. I freaking love it. I need to get one of those put on my face. There we go. Here's one of our new young PHLers right there. My buddy Jordan right there. Good to see you. You can forget this photo right here. Lord, let it be. I love it. Let it be. They are. The Herb Jones. Will he be a pawn in the Kevin Durant trade that's about to happen? Let's see. Chad, I'll get with you after the stream. Send your shirt, my buddy. All you gotta do, follow the instructions at the bottom. Ed, what's good? Good to see you. Welcome on back. Welcome on back. I think offense is winning the poll 55-45. So there you go. Now, as much as I think defense still needs help, offense is a more important side of the football. Type Y for yes, type N for no. LSU absolutely positively needs to land a quarterback in 2023. Next super chatter gets to pick the new poll question. Safeguard your soul. Good to see you. Always appreciate your positivity, man. I appreciate it. My goal today or tonight is to get Philip to change his photo, Jewel to change her photo. Tari, I'm expecting some more super chat hot takes tonight. You have some of the hottest takes. I mean, they're scorchers. Absolute scorchers. Absolute scorchers. Good to see you too, Linda. Welcome back. We absolutely, positively need to land a quarterback. Type Y for yes, type N for no. You need a quarterback every class. Brandon, Jared. Probably only have 2 quarterbacks on the roster after this season. It's probably true. Rick says Y for yes as well. So here is the benefit of bringing in a quarterback every class, okay? The benefit is you for sure have a quarterback that will be on your roster for at least that year, right? So, for instance, if you land a quarterback in 2023, that player is for sure going to be on your roster in 2023. The likelihood that a quarterback transfers out is very little, right? Whereas going into next year, if you don't land a quarterback, and let's just say that Jaden Daniels and Miles Brennan, well, Miles will for sure be gone next year, but let's just say Jaden Daniels decides to leave next year as well. What if next summer Walker Howard beats out Garrett Nussmeier? Then Nuss is packing his bags. There's no other way around it. He's going to pack his bags because he is going to have a heavy list of suitors. Heavy. So then you're left with only Walker Howard. You can't have a roster of just one scholarship guy. Now, if that were the case, they would obviously have a long list of decent transfer portal quarterback options. But still, I think with the portal now, it is more important that you bring in a quarterback every class. It's very important. Okay? So I think not as much necessarily we for sure view this guy as a potential guy in year 2 of his development. It's almost as much an emergency plan, right? Because another reason why it's good to have a quarterback in every class is it does make practice easier as well. Okay. Your wide receivers probably practice better when scholarship quarterbacks are throwing the football to them, right? So if you're practicing and you only have one scholarship quarterback option, then you're in a lot of trouble. Okay? You're in a lot of trouble. So I don't think it's one of those things where you can just rely on the transfer portal all the time. I do think it is better to bring in a scholarship quarterback every single year. Okay? And this is a lesson that Texas A&M learned the hard way. Now, it ended up working out for him because Calzada ended up being, at the very least, competent. But the second most important player on your team is always going to be the backup quarterback. Always. It's just how it is. There are very few players on your team that matter more than your backup quarterback, if any, right? Texas A&M had a gazillion 5-stars over these past couple of years, not just this year, but over the past couple of years, and almost every single one of them turned out to be really, really good football players, right? They've not figured out their quarterback situation just yet. And when Haynes King went down, there was a rough transition phase with Calzada. So the good thing, yes, if it got to that point, a true freshman would be playing, but at least you have that assurance, right? So I'm not just saying, hey, just go get any 2-star, whatever, just have on the roster. It does make you feel better, and I do think you practice better when there is a younger guy in there that's given wide receivers good passes to work with. And anytime youth is infused into any position group and that youth is good, it really presses the guys ahead of them. Ed says they're going to need 2 quarterbacks in 2023. That's what's very interesting, Ed, is like you see all these different quarterbacks, but Miami, they have a 3-star that's committed. He's not budgeting. he said, "Forget Jaden Rashad. I'm still going." I don't know the kid's name. I saw a little blurb on him. It's very interesting though. He's saying, "Look, I'm going. I'd be interested. I wish Leon was in here, our Miami expert, but yeah, I don't know." I mean, I'd love for them to give Ricky Collins hope. Constant field this by LSU. Well, yeah, it's hard not to feel that way, honestly, right? Now, I will say this. Okay. Very important. We don't know probably as much about his recruitment as we would like to think, right? We did see the 7-on-7 camp where Joe Sloan was talking to Ricky Collins. Ricky Collins made it to the Elite 11 finals. Now, I don't think he was listed amongst the final elite. It's actually an Elite 12, but still, he won the Elite 11 regional here in Baton Rouge. He's only been surging in the recruiting rankings, and it's pretty clear that all the tools are there for him to be really good. Now, I will say this. I did have boots on the ground in California. Or where was the Elite 11? I don't even know. Wherever it was. I think it was in California. Nevertheless, LJ, thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. LJ, you get to pick the next topic. Thank you so much. I will say this, right? I did see from an evaluator I like a lot, Solving Football. And I also had someone at the camp tell me this, that Eli Holstein wasn't as good as the other quarterbacks there. Now, this is a camp where you're throwing in tights, okay? And I've shared this about Eli Holstein from the get-go. He is really athletic, but there's a lot of work to be done. But his wow plays are wow plays. He's got a cannon. He's got some dual threat to his game. He is watered down Josh Allen. Okay, he's got some real upside to him. I wasn't really shocked by it, right? So it is amazing how many messages I still get about the Arch Manning and Eli Holstein thing. Now, a lot of you are diehard LSU football fans, and you watch this channel. You're informed on LSU football. You have subscriptions to other sites. You're going to be subscribed to the Patreon soon. And you have a lot of LSU information. So you know more about why Arch Manning and Eli Holstein were never going to pick LSU, right? But it's amazing how many messages I still get about it from people that don't follow LSU closely, that are covering different programs, and just helicopter LSU fans, right? I think Holstein and Manning are both two talented quarterback prospects. I don't think they're far off from each other. I don't have either one of them in the elite tier of quarterbacks in this crop for 2023. It is a little interesting though. Wanted to share that. Now, point being, it's hard to project anything. It's hard to project anything. Okay. But you're an LSU account. You're an LSU account. You're, of course, going to say Eli Holstein's not that great. And I know I'm going to get a ton of those messages as well, right? Because as many of you know, we got Alabama trolls that will helicopter in at any second. You've seen them. But I don't listen to them, right? There's plenty of times where I'll admit Bama was better than LSU, right? Or a Bama player was better than an LSU player, or so on and so on. I'm just sharing what I've heard from those camps. Okay? But if he wants to come to LSU, I'd take him. Just to lock in a quarterback. Sounds like Bo Nix. I could see it. He's a little more athletic than him, though. We got more Notre Dame trolls. That's true, LJ. Look, I'll give it to Notre Dame. They've done a really good job. Doing a really good job. Yeah, I wouldn't crap on Purdue. I would not crap on Purdue. Don't crap on Purdue. If you're a Saints fan, you shouldn't crap on Purdue. If you're a fan of teams that always lose in the Sweet 16, don't crap on Purdue. But for real, they are an offense that has been very formidable. They have put a lot of really good offensive players into the NFL. I think that Curtis Duvall kid from Iowa, Louisiana, is that how you pronounce it? It's spelled like Iowa, Louisiana. I think he's going to be really good at Purdue. I think he's going to fit in well with what they do offensively. Reminds me a lot of the David Ball guy that just got drafted. I could see why Ricky Collins would want to go to Purdue. Go up there, put up good numbers, playing a good offense. Totally get it. Now, I'd prefer him to go to LSU. So it's pronounced I-way. 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 LJ's comment. This is a super chat question. Does Carter prefer raspberry truly or peach white claw? You know what's funny, LJ? So my fiance is on the high noon stuff, right? That's all she drinks now. She drinks the high noons and the ranch waters. That just doesn't sound appetizing to me. Ranch water. But I'm not a big seltzer guy. Like, I'm not. Something like, I don't know. Like, if I'm at a party and all they have are seltzers, I could roll with it. Just not my thing. I'm a fruity drink guy. I'm a fruity beer guy, but I don't know what it is about the seltzers, right? Like, I'm fine with White Claw. I'm fine with Truly. But yeah. Rob, don't come in here with these hot takes. All seltzers suck. Take away Miles's flip-flops. Ba-dum-bum. So I want to make sure everyone feels good. Trent, Mac, I've chatted with you guys a few times tonight. Treasure PHL in this thing. Good to see a lot of beautiful faces in there. Let's see something really quickly. Kai Prian. Let's go to the super chat. LJ, thank you so much for always supporting. You always drop a $10 spot. I really do appreciate it. We'll go to Max's super chat here in just a second. Phil, thank you guys so much for supporting the PHL movement. Let's see who's going to match those $10 super chats. Give me your odds. We are undefeated for Auburn. That means we beat Florida State and the Cowbells at home. Okay? It's a really good question. Now, Florida State game, I feel like that point spread is going to close probably LSU -2. I feel as if that's good for LSU, I guess. We saw it happen in the UCLA game, right? LSU was -4, and then now a lot of sharp money came in on UCLA there at the end. So a point spread is not the be all end all, but what that tells you is that it's going to be a field goal game either way. I do think, though, Mike Norvell is in a little over his head. I'm not on fire about them saying, hey, Norvell, call plays and we'll get an OC some other time, right? Give me your odds and we're undefeated for Auburn. Not too concerned about Florida State at this point. It's a 50-50 game, but where I get concerned is when I feel one team is considerably better than the other, and that is not the case with Florida State. And some of that is we haven't seen LSU play yet, and some of it we haven't seen Florida State play yet either. I'd say they beat Florida State. Now, Mississippi State game's a tricky game, right? We know Will Rogers is a really good passer, but the guy that Texas A&M is going to miss is Charles Cross, first-round offensive lineman. I haven't looked to see who Mississippi State got to replace him just yet. I haven't started previewing the rest of the SEC, but there's no way their offensive line is going to be as good as it was last year without Charles Cross. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. We shall see. Mississippi State runs a quick passing game. I don't know too much about Mississippi State's defense. They do lose Aaron Brule to Michigan State. So, yeah, I'll put the odds that LSU is undefeated by the Auburn game 70%, which is pretty good. I would take 7 out of 10 in that scenario. I would. Now, 90% would be like obviously near 100%. 70%, I still feel pretty good about that. I do. Will Rogers be top 5 in the Heisman voting? I don't know if Will Rogers is a lock to be a top 5 quarterback in the SEC. Okay. Checking in on the poll question here. Which side of the ball needs to be more addressed in recruiting? Offense wins out. Put up a poll question for LJ. right. There you go, LJ. Your poll question is up, my friend. There you go. Florida State W, Southern W, Mississippi State W, New Mexico State W. 4-0 start. How about it? How much is he betting you there, Pierce? Gotta tell you this, it's not a good bet. Okay. So top 5 in the Heisman voting. Now, Will Rogers, well, we know CJ Stroud's going to be really good. We know Bryce Young's going to be really good. So those guys are 2 locks to be top 5 in the Heisman voting. Then you have a guy that I like a lot, Caleb Williams. I think he's someone that could take up one of those slots. And then you have a lot of other guys. You have 2 other offensive players on Ohio State, Trayvon Henderson and Jackson Smith and Jigba. You still have Kayshawn out there who has Heisman potential. Then you have a list of other quarterbacks that could be there, right? Tyler Van Dyke, and Miami's a very interesting player. The list goes on and on. I could see I'm a little bit higher on Malik Hooker than Moore, than most, excuse me. So we'll see. KJ Jefferson's very interesting. I do think I could see it. I could see it. Now, he's not going to have Treylon Burks, but KJ Jefferson's a good quarterback. Bijan Robinson from Texas. I don't think Quinn Ewers is that good. I think he's okay. I think he could be like, I don't know, like, I guess like a Graham Harrell, Chase Daniel type of quarterback. Put up some numbers, but not really that great. But Quinn Ewers has Heisman potential. Will Shipley at Clemson. That's not true. Because if Kayshawn would have continued to produce at the level he was producing last year, Kayshawn would have been ahead of Max when it comes to the Heisman race. I had a long Twitter thread leading into last year that people were wasting money betting on Derek Stingley and Max Johnson to win the Heisman, and Kayshawn was the way better bet. And one of the few things I was right about. And Kayshawn's got real star potential too, right? And he's on like a ton of top 10 draft mocks. So at this point, so much about Heisman trophies is narrative. Kayshawn's a bigger star than any of our quarterbacks, right? So, though, more than likely, you would think that the quarterback would be in contention with the wide receiver like Mac Jones and Devonta Smith. But we've seen Kayshawn just carry our offense on his own quite a bit. And I think he's one of the rare receivers with his quarterback situation that can do that. Like every college football fan knows who Kayshawn is, right? Now, he's not like a Bryce Young type of star, but a lot of college football fans and a lot of the national media knows Kayshawn is because of his NFL draft potential. Yes. I think, yes, easily. because I could see Will Anderson winning Heisman this year. And look, once again, Heisman is all about narrative. Okay. Manti Te'o was a Heisman finalist. He wasn't really that good at Notre Dame. Like, Clowney was a better player. Jarvis Jones was a better player that year. Still. But yes, we will. Will Anderson was pretty close. I think he got cannibalized by his own teammate. And, we can get into this debate all we want about most valuable player versus a Heisman and the semantics of it. A quarterback is always going to be so far ahead of everybody else that it's not going to matter. It's not going to matter. Manti was a hilariously good player at Notre Dame. What? Okay, so that year, Te'o was what? I think he wasn't top 10 in tackles that year, if I remember correctly. He had a lot of interceptions, but a lot of them were deflections that went like straight to him, right? And the fact that he was a Heisman finalist, okay, when it was clear Jadeveon Clowney, which led South Carolina to an 11-win season, I think it was clear who the better football player was. Now, I'm not saying Te'o it wasn't good, but if I remember correctly, could be wrong, but the 7 interceptions were a lot of ball pops in the air and it landed to him, right? You wouldn't be confused with his ball skills and Tyrann Matthews' ball skills, right? I don't think his 7 interceptions were the byproduct of just amazing defense. Was he good? Yes. Girlfriend scenario to the side. He was a really good football player, but he wasn't the Heisman Trophy runner-up. He wasn't. I actually like both of these guys a lot. I think Champ Bailey should have gotten more Heisman love. I think Champ Bailey was better than Charles Woodson. But once again, he had the punt return, right? And that got him a lot of votes. But yeah, yeah, sure. Why not? Obviously, I think Matthew was robbed. I think Ndamukong Suh was also kind of sort of robbed. What year was that? Ndamukong Suh, it's hard to remember all these years. But yeah. Now I can't put it up on the screen, but let me pull it. Okay. All right. All right. So let me show you this really quickly. All right. So this is what a lot of people consider. Okay, I remember this correctly. Okay. Manti Te'o's Heisman moment. All right. So this is not him in coverage. Okay. But the ball was thrown to this linebacker, and the wide receiver, I think, just popped the football in the air, and it went straight to Te'o, right? He was just standing there. He was running towards it, and the ball went right into his hands. Okay. And I remember everyone saying that was like one of the best interceptions they've ever seen. But it is what it is. Tao was okay, right? I don't think he was as good as people made it out to be. And he ended up having a good NFL career, like a decent one. Yeah, there's so many factors here. Let me see. How did I remember that? Well, I'm kind of sort of a big clowny guy. Like I'm a stickler for defensive linemen, right? So like Will Anderson should have won the Heisman last year. He was the best player. Kleining was the best player at his peak. Okay. South Carolina was winning 11 games while that guy was in school. Okay. Now, a lot of it was Spurrier. A lot of it was the East not being as good with Florida and Georgia or whatever. Kleining at his peak, at his powers, is still the best defensive lineman, pass rusher. I think Will Anderson is better than him, though. I do. But still, right? Now, Georgia's defensive line as a whole was better than South Carolina's, clearly. 03 LSU was better. 07 LSU defensive line was better than Clowney's, right? But, Clowney was just so special that year, right? So one thing, and I'll go on to the next subject. I don't knock defensive players for coincidental INTs. The same way I don't knock wide receivers for being schemed open or having carries spammed at them, like Alabama's own Heisman fraud, Derrick Henry. So this is a difference, right? You shouldn't win Heismans for that, though, right? Because Manti Te'o finishing runner-up in the Heisman is disrespectful to other defensive players who deserve to be runner-ups, right? Like, I didn't want the one defensive player since Charles Woodson to win the Heisman to be a guy that wasn't even the best defensive. Like, I thought Jarvis Jones was better that year as well. So, but anyway, we'll move back to LSU stuff. If you want me to stick on the Heisman Trophy stuff, feel free to super chat. Tonight, we have gotten Max and LJ have been our only super chatters. I want to see some new PHL T-shirt club members as well. Michael, this is a good question. Michael, also a new PHL T-shirt club member. Okay. We were so close to beating Bama last season. What are the odds we win at home versus Bama this year? Really good question. Okay. So one thing we tend to forget about college football is it is very situational. LSU 337, good to see you in here. And it's good to see Savage Tiger FB fan. Good to see you as well. College football is very situational. Okay. Shane, what's up, man? What are the odds we win at home versus Bama? Okay, so let's talk about the Bama game last year. All right. We did one of the biggest switcheroos I've ever seen in college football history, right? We ran a completely different defense. And for the first time all year, we actually decided to run a defense other than man coverage every single time, rush 4, occasionally twist up front. It was the worst defensive scheme I've ever seen, to the point where I had, some people that watch the channel that may or may not had some part to do with LSU football last year, reaching out and yelling at how frustrated they were at everything that was going on. And, I was screaming every week on the channel, switch up the defense, okay? It was clear that we were doing the same thing over and over, and it took reportedly Lane Kiffin calling Ed Orgeron, whatever. Now, against Alabama, we scraped all of that and ran an entirely new defense, right? So a lot of what you do as a football team is film study. all these players have iPads or they have very easy access to film, and they could pull it up. And Bryce Young and the Alabama offense going into that weekend probably thought that they were going to see more of the same. And then what did we do? We switched up the defense and we held them to 6 yards rushing, right? Alabama's going to be more prepared for something like that, right? That was a very unique circumstance where we actually had our talent in good position to go out there and make plays, right? And ironically, that was after we lost a lot of our really good players, right? We had our best defensive performances without Stingley, Ricks, and all those guys because the scheme actually got slightly better. Now, ironically, in that game, Buster, the touchdowns that Bama scored were the byproduct of poor safety placement defensively, but that's in the past. I won't get into that now. Still, our defense was better. Cam Lewis had a big game. Neil Farrell had a legendary game, and we played really well. Now, Bama arguably is going to be better this year. I am a little interested with their wide receivers. I don't think their offensive line issues are totally fixed. I am a little bit interested to see what Jahmyr Gibbs is going to do next year. Obviously, a step up in competition. He is a lighter running back. We talked about that earlier this week on this channel. And defensively, Will Anderson and Dallas Turner, they're special. They're both future first-round picks. Turner's a really good football player, right? Turner was the one that really killed us last year, and Will Anderson killed us as well, being honest. But they did lose Harris. They did lose some other pieces. I don't know. The more time has spent, I have been a little bit more skeptical about Alabama going into next year. A little bit more. They're still really good. When you return 2 Heisman Trophy winners, in my mind, you have a really good chance of winning, especially with the greatest coach of all time coaching you. But we'll see. We'll see. We shall see. Okay? Exactly. They were not ready for that. So that's the thing, right? And I know I get this question a lot. What is our record going to be? There are just so many factors, and it has nothing to do with actual team talent. A lot of it is injuries. A lot of it is coaching changes. A lot of it is drama and speculation. There's so much that changes, right? Billy, good to see ya. Dex, good to see ya. Kyle, good to see ya. Leon, good to see ya. So there we go. Marcus, you are the one guy. Marcus, shout out to the whole family. I still remember that avatar. I love it. I hope everybody is rocking their booger bands. I've sent you a ton of booger bands. I want each and every family member to have one. Marcus loves the boom. I'm looking at you right now. I'm looking at you. Oh, am I supposed to be going right here? No, it's right here. It goes right there. Boom. I'm looking at you. Yes, you. Right now. Now my finger's in focus. I love when the porn bots come in. That means that they are that means they're subscribed. So now, and Chris, I know you're in every live stream. Ellie Mom, you're in every live stream. A lot of you are in every live stream, and I appreciate the perfect attendance. But you know that I have like the subscriber only chat. So now I have all these porn bots that are like subscribed to my channel now. It's kind of crazy. I'm just getting off. I have to catch up on the details. Taylor, I appreciate it. I have to say, I've tuned into a few of your streams down, watching your videos, and your channel is easily my favorite for LSU football related content. I appreciate you, Chandler. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. I love it. It's what I do, man. It's what I do. So, I have something special tonight. I feel like I need to do something to really push one of you to joining the PHL T-shirt club. Now, every time I put one of these man's cards up, we sell shirts. Okay? I feel like a lot of you have an emotional connection to this player. So, I'm going to give out next PHL T-shirt club member, Matt Flynn, rookie card right here. It's going to you. It's Topps rookie. It's actually my favorite Matt Flynn rookie card. He's got a few. But there he is, young Matt Flynn with the Green Bay Packers. Who can forget when he had that 6 touchdown performance? Remember, Aaron Rodgers got hurt, and he just balled out of control. Let's see if I can get it in focus again. Billy, are you joining the PHL T-shirt club tonight? I can't even get this to focus. Right here. There we go. Why is it? There you go, right there. Fancy camera focus on the Flynn card, not my face. I can't believe. There we go. No! Huh? This is probably the most entertaining thing. Right here. Boom. Right there. Tari, all you gotta do, follow the instructions, bottom of the screen. Oh, Billy's gonna be joining the club. Tari, if you have any questions, shoot me a Twitter DM or IG message at Power Hour LSU. If you just want to ask you a question, shoot me a message on either one of those. And if you haven't already, Power Hour LSU on Twitter, trying to grow that up. Grow that up. Let's see this. Bang. Power Hour LSU on Twitter. Sip G, good to see you. Savage Tiger fan. The key will be what is all the time. Offensive line and QB play, and the first time in forever, the secondary. I ain't worried about the front 7 receivers and running backs. There you go. Chance, what's good? Everyone's fantastic. How are you, Super Dad? Favorite Matt Flynn TD pass was, Rick, no one remembers that pass. Why would you bring up a pass that nobody remembers? Not a single person in this chat remembers Flynn to Bird. Not a single person. Cutting grass this late? Well, I don't know. You could be a West Coast guy. Still could be light outside. Beautiful. I just want you to know you're my favorite girl. Bump, 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 bump. Let's see what we got here. Oh, that's a good question, Chance. I just got your email. I'll get it to you after the live stream is over. I don't know. I mean, I guess Birds was more iconic because of that touchdown catch, but I don't know. Let's see. They should be open now. Allow message requests from everyone. Yep, they are open now. I just wanted you to know that you are. Oh, Bro Bridge? Cutting late in Bro Bridge. I like it, man. I sent you stuff, so of course. Bro Bridge, baby. I don't think I've ever met anybody from Bro Bridge that wasn't like the nicest person on the planet. Might be a little bit different because you lived there. Can't see me. I don't know. Terraces, man, that's just good. That's just good. Love me some TM6, man. What a monster. Let's go to Shane here. Shane, let me know if you're still watching with the super professional photo. Carter, I think Coach House is going to be a great DC, but I haven't heard much about the linebackers for this class. You think he'll be able to bring in some studs? It's a good question. So part of that is like the jack linebacker thing. So that's still Jamar Cain's position, right? Technically it is, and it isn't. I think they all recruit that position. Now, as far as like off-ball linebackers, don't know if they're really in the running for anybody in particular. I understand Tackett Curtis and Jaden Osbury are probably not going to pick LSU. Obviously, Tackett Curtis is not, but we'll see what happens there as far as like off-ball linebacker is concerned. Most of my focus, though, has been on these 4 defensive linemen to see what is actually going to happen. So we shall see. Carter, I'm from Dallas, Texas, born and raised. My dad is an LSU alum, class of 1995. I'll be at the FSU game in NOLA, first game of the new era. It's good. We'll be doing a subscriber meetup in NOLA. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. Be on the lookout for that. Frozen. Any girl dad does not like that word. Well, actually, any dad, honestly. I'm still kind of shocked, like how big of a phenomenon Frozen still is. I went to my niece and they would death stare you if you said Iowa, like the state. So it's Iowa, even though it's spelled Iowa. Iowa. What a great live stream this has been. See super chats. Let's see. Let's check in on the poll question here. What are the odds LSU is undefeated heading into Auburn? 76 to 90%. 51 to 75% close by. Yeah, so I'll say this about Tackett Curtis. I think he's okay, right? I think, for me, I don't know if he I'm trying my best way to put this. I don't know if he translates to what he does in high school now to the next level. And I think, anyone could see that, right? So there's going to be a transition phase for him. Yeah, so you could put some ads in live streams, and I elected to do that. But I don't know, I don't know if they're unbelievably intrusive or not, but it's a good way to keep it going, especially, gives you a little break, like an hour 30 into it. Johnny 5, what's good? But yeah, I just don't know. Like I just have a tough time. I just have a tough time seeing, and I'd feel this way if he was going to LSU as well. A lot of his clips are him lining up at safety and just running down ball carriers, right? I'm trying to figure out where his best position is going to be. And I think he's an edge guy. I think he's like a jack linebacker. It's very interesting. He's a very interesting player. Obviously, he's a really good athlete. He's got a lot of speed and he hits really hard, right? But we'll see. Let's go, Rick. Top super chat of the night goes to Rick and LJ. Thank you so much, man. I would love to see a $10 match. Let's go. Jackson is our highest ranked recruit this class. Who's our next higher ranked recruit that we land? So this goes to a comment a little bit earlier. It honestly just depends on which service you use, right? Do any of you, and this just, rhetorical question, it just depends on, do you use On3? Do you use the On3 consensus? Do you use 247? Do you use the 247 composite? Do you use Rivals? Rivals is the first recruiting service out there, right? I choose to still use the 247 composite for most of the things that I do. Okay. 247 composite says that Jackson Howard's our best recruit. Now, Rick, I think you saw the Jackson Howard video from yesterday, so you know this, but a lot of people don't know this, that a lot of players LSU are landing over the next couple of days. The On3 guys and gals that do their recruiting stuff views some of these guys as higher ranked players than the 247 composite. So according to On3, Darren Reed might be our best player, but the 247 composite doesn't even view Darren Reed as a top 40 defensive lineman. Or excuse me, the 247 ranking doesn't view him as a top 40 defensive lineman. So there you go. Now, Jackson Howard will decommit after the Texas A&M game. Go Canes. Now, I'm not going to sell out and say this is going to happen. However, I think Leon likes the $20 super chat option because it is orange. I love it, though. Anytime I could get a $20 super chat troll, I'll take it. But that's not really trolling. You've been unbelievable, Leon, on this channel. Y'all have to admit, Leon's been one of our best commenters over the past couple of weeks. Let's go. I love it, though. But wait, so he's going to come. Are you saying LSU's Texas A&M game? Does Miami play Texas A&M this year? Let me see. Let me pull up. August. What's up, man? Oh, they do. Interesting. Wow. I need to get out of the rock I'm living under here. Look at this. Leon's Jay Chillin can get a little trolling. Our South Carolina, our Notre Dame guy. They play on September 17th. Miami and Texas A&M. So look, we'll talk we'll talk a little Miami here. We have to be honest, Mario Cristobal has knocked it out of the park early on. Now, is he a great in-game coach? I don't think so. But man, this guy can build a program. His staff has been really good up to this point, doing some good recruiting. And I'm not just saying this to appease Leon because he has been a really good PHLer. I'm saying this in truth. College football is better when Miami is good. So BCU, Southern Miss, and Texas A&M. That is such a weird start to the year. Let's go. Chance, this is actually a good thing. If Miami and Texas A&M, and let's be honest, I know I made fun of Jimbo because his recruiting staffer said what he said on that recruiting viral video. Those guys in the suites are going to pay you whatever. Maybe that's actually a good thing. As a recruit, if I watched that video, I would be like, oh, heck, they're not ashamed about it. They're going to pay me? Are you kidding me? And they're not hiding it? Let's go. So Miami and Texas A&M have been the two programs that have been labeled as the NIL schools. That's actually good for their brand, right? If I'm a player and I'm like, oh, I'm for sure going to get a bag. If I'm a top 100 guy, I'm going to get a bag. Sheesh. August, send me a message of me on the big screen, please. I love this. Look at the photo. Look at that. Makes me so happy. It does. So, actually, let's do this because Leon's been our top super chatter tonight. I wonder if there's going to be a $20 match tonight. I think we're going to get a $20 match in the next few minutes. I really do. Let's do this. Switch with the poll question. Poll question is kind of awkward. Percentages, all that stuff. Let's do this one. Nola Grizz! I can always count on Nola Grizz. Every single time Nola Grizz is in here, drops a $10. I appreciate it, Dan. Appreciate it. BKB, Cruton, his rep, and that LSU legacy is a great tag team, but QB has always been make or break for us, so those we have to keep bringing into the fold. Carter the Great. Juwan, I see you in here. Juwan's been a little grouchy with the recruiting lately. You're a little grouchy after the Derek Williams thing. Juwan likes those stars. He likes those stars. Hey, I do too. Braylon! They're rolling in now. Rolling in the deep. So, let's start with Nola Grizz super chat here. Put that, dang, Leon, I meant to put your name in the question. I'm sorry. Keep bringing it to the fold. I love it. I freaking love it. Now, first thing here is LSU's not out of it for Dante Moore. I'm just not going to believe it until it actually happens. I'm not going to say to myself, this kid visited LSU for the spring game, has visited LSU before that, and he's just going to not think about LSU when he's got all the power in this situation. Yeah, Oregon's got probably a more wide open situation, and they have deep bags over there. So what? I'm not counting Brian Kelly out of the Dante Moore sweepstakes, okay? Now, we can get into a Ricky Collins discussion. I'm happy to do it. I still think Ricky is interested in LSU, but I can also understand him keeping his recruitment open to Purdue. I can also see Ricky Collins going to Florida State. And look, LSU knows they're going to have to pay for Shelton Sampson, right? Shelton Sampson knows he has some real leverage here. He's a Baton Rouge 5-star receiver. We only have one wide receiver in this last class. Shelton Sampson knows he can, get some real moolah from Florida State, Alabama. Money might not mean anything to him, though. He might not want any NIL deals. But if he did, he has a lot of leverage. Still, LSU's got more than enough name, image, and likeness power to help get more kids what they need for them to come to LSU. I think folks at the betting sites are underestimating LSU coach Brian Kelly. Attention to details of hungry transfers and attorneys. What's more important of these? Honestly, of those three, returnees are the most important thing. Let's go. Oh, that's cool. I want you to see this. Look, Graylin. So, Graylin, you're about to be the first person to ever have this happen. Okay? Let me make sure. So, Graylin, this is your super chat on a screen on okay, let me get this right. Okay, for those dad joke tongue twister fans out there, this is Graylin's super chat on my screen via Caucus's screen that took a photo of his hotel screen. Now I am showing Caucus's screenshot of his screen from his phone screen to my phone screen that is now showing on your screen, Caucus's screen, and Graylin on his screen is seeing his super chat comment on the screen while looking at my screen. Do I need to say that again? Type Y for yes, type in for no. Y'all want me to do this again? Okay. Let me make sure I get this right. Type Y for yes, type in for no. Y'all want me to do it again? Type Y for yes, type in for no. Okay. Type Y for yes. I will do the tongue twister again. Okay. And y'all check me on this if I got it right. Okay. Rick doesn't want it again. Nola Grizz. Okay, Nola Grizz does. I don't know. I'm preferring T-shirt club members on their votes. Okay, we'll do it one more time. Okay. So right now, you are looking at, oh, look, another porn bot. Okay. We're going to do it one more time. I'm going to lose a ton of viewers, but this is just too much fun. I could do it again. Okay. So you are looking at my screen. Let me get this right. Okay. Let me get this right. Okay. So right now, you are looking at, all right, I'm looking at my screen to make sure my screen is on your screen. Okay. But this is my screen showing Caucus's screen on a hotel screen. I took a screenshot of Caucus's screen, taking a photo of his screen. Now I am showing this screenshot on my screen that your screen is now picking up. So I hope Graylin's screen could see his super chat, which is on Caucus's screen. He took a screenshot, or he took a photo, and I took a screenshot of Caucus's screen, his phone screen, sending it to my screen to put this screen on your screen. There we go. I didn't do it right the second time. I didn't. I did not do it. Yo, dog, we heard you. You like screens. So a screenshot of your screen in a screen, you can see that screen on your screen. Oh, oh, we all scream for ice cream. Oh man, I love that. I crack myself up. Voting Notre. So you don't want Notre Dame to join the Big Ten, Kyle? Don't get on my screen. I I think I think Chris left us. No, Chris is still here. I thought Chris was gonna leave me. Oh man, that was crazy. Actually, I need to answer Graylin's super chat. I think Graylin got mad because he was waiting for his super chat, but yeah. So funny. Huh? 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 I don't know. I don't know why I like that so much. The first time I think I got it right, but the second time I kind of got lost because thank you, A+ for effort. Thank you. So it was. Let me actually do this right without like joking. I was starting to laugh at myself too much. So this is this is crazy, man. Oh man. Okay, so caucuses. And by the way, you pulling this up on a hotel TV, that's pretty good. It's pretty good. But anyway, by the way, it is still up for grabs if you get a PHL t-shirt tonight, or if we get a $50 donation. Our last $50 super chat goes out was from our good friend Van Lathan. You are getting a Matt Flynn rookie card. There you go. So, or I'll give this away. Why not? I'll do it. With the Matt Flynn rookie card, you will get a Jarrell Martin and Jordan Mickey dual autograph card. So it was Caucus on his hotel screen with his phone screen took a photo. He then sent it to my screen where I screenshotted my screen, then showed my screen to my screen, which was picked up by my camera. And then Caucus's screen was showing on this screen, showing Graylin super chat on your screen. But to answer your super chat, Graylin, the returnees are the most important thing. Anytime you look at any great national championship team, they had a ridiculous amount of draftable returnees. And what I mean draftable returnees, I'm also including like sophomores that weren't eligible for the draft. So here's an example of this. Alabama last year or this year doesn't technically have any draft returnees, but Bryce Young would have been a first round pick. Will Anderson would have been a first round pick, right? So when you get that much production returning, it does help you win national championships. It just does. Go look at all of LSU's best teams. You could go PHL episode 9. I think it was my 9th video ever made. We get into the numbers, right, of how important it is to have returnees. Now, the transfer portal does make it a little bit better for you to return good players, right? But the truth, okay, is LSU is fine, right? with the transfer portal rebuilding their depth for next year. So you technically have a lot of returning starters, but they were starters on other teams, right? So it's crazy, right? Everybody's chilled out, Kyle. Everybody's chilled out. And here's the thing, right? Here's the thing about everybody chilling out, okay? For people to have freaked out so much over losing Derek Williams to then just be perfectly calm after the Jackson Howard thing doesn't make sense, right? The only time you should really freak out over someone is if you view that player as a truly needle moving player, right? So, what this past week told me is not a lot of people have really watched Jackson Howard or Derek Williams really play. Because if you're freaking out over losing, like, look, Derek Williams can be really special, but I am not going to 1000% say he's the next Jamal Adams, right? He's going to be very good. He's not going to be any worse than like a decent safety. Like, I think his floor is Craig Lawson, but the only time you will see me freak out over losing a recruit is if that player is transcendent, if he is truly special. And for me, there's just not many of those recruits. Sometimes there's not one of them in a class, right? Like that's just me, right? Like for me, Harold Perkins was that guy just overall for 2022. And part of the reason why I didn't freak out was there was people telling me that LSU was not out of it. Okay. But, you know, even if he went to A&M, it's not the be all end all. There is so much variance when it comes to projecting. And I'm also going to tell you this, and it's not going to sound great, but this is just the truth. The more I looked into recruiting data and projections and all of that, I'm telling you, it is really hard to see which players are going to hit and which ones aren't when it comes to edge rushers. There is a lot of head scratchers, of guys that just don't do anything, right? I I I've got to say this. This is very strange to me, but you know, I'm kind of shocked that Philip Webb has done nothing. Nothing. Now, when I went back earlier today, I went back and watched Philip Webb's high school highlight tape. A lot of his plays were guys leaving him unblocked on naked boots and all that. But man, you know, I don't type Y for yes, type N for no. Did you think Philip Webb would be a producer by now? Type Y for yes, type N for no. But like when he was coming out, everybody was super excited about that. What's up, Tony? Good to see you. I will say Jacoby was a hit for sure. Oh, Jacoby Stevens or Jacoby Matthews? Oh, okay. So Jacoby Matthews. So you think Jacoby Matthews is for sure going to be a stud? Like, sometimes I get this wrong, right? I thought JoJo Earl was going to set the world on fire, and he very well could. But now, would I trade JoJo Earl for Malik Neighbors? I don't think I would. I don't think I would. So I get it wrong. I get the can't bust guys wrong. Like Leonard Fournette, if you go back and watch his high school highlight tape, he was unbustable. He was unbustable. It was just no way he wasn't going to be transcendent. No way. It would have taken something special for that to not work out. I think Sage is really good. I do. I still think so. I'm not backing off of that. The Florida game was really good from him. Really good. And I'm also going to say this. Playing the nickel is really hard when you play man coverage every time. It's really hard to play nickel. It's harder to play nickel when you play man coverage every time than it is to play outside corner. I really do believe that. There's just you're just dead basically in a lot of different ways. And Sage's Florida game was actually pretty good. But health is going to be key. Health is going to be key. Head buses for the LSU defense. I love it, Tony. I follow Sherman Wilson on Twitter. I love this guy. He's a LSU staffer. I love that guy. This environment is not for everyone. Love me some Sherman Wilson. Man, I'm going to cry if Matthew Langlois isn't going to be good. New Roads, Louisiana, Pointe-Coupee Parish. He's got plenty of speed. But, yeah, I mean, tackling was a little rough in the spring game for him. But at the very least, he's going to be a good special teamer for LSU. And most 3 stars are your 3 guys anyway. So we shall see. It's hard, Dan. Like, it's really hard. It's amazing the guys that do hit and the guys that don't. Man, actually, I'm a full screen this. Look at that. This deserves a full screen. This environment is not for everybody. I don't know. Derek Davis Jr., right? He was an early enrollee. I love a good Kerry Vincent chatter. One thing I liked about Kerry Vincent was he was always getting better, right? And he was playing his absolute best at the end of the season, right? Really good football player. Still don't think LSU's out of it for Derek Williams. I just don't. That's the thing, Kyle. A lot of the and look, this is where it gets a little difficult, right? A lot of these like top 100, top 150 guys just, no one really knows what happened. Like Mo Hampton was someone I thought that was going to be really good. Was it just really bad scheme or what exactly happened? I don't know. I still refuse to believe Mo Hampton was the same player in 2019 that he was in 2020. But it's interesting when you look at safety in particular. LSU's had some good out-of-state safeties like Jamal Adams, Jordan Battle, but there have been some interesting players that haven't panned out. Eric Monroe was also a top 100 safety from Texas, didn't pan out. Went to Texas Tech. I think he was decent there. Still, I don't know. Like Ed Paris, but that was injuries. He was decent. We'll see what Todd Harris can do this year. I think Todd Harris has a higher likelihood of playing than we probably think. And I know that upsets a lot of you, but we'll see. Hopefully Major Burns comes back fully healthy. But the safeties are going to be Jay Ward and Joe Fouché. And until those guys don't play well, we'll see Langlois, Derek Davis, Tolles get their opportunity. Todd Harris get their opportunities. Major Burns. To you, what traits make a good safety? So for me, the hardest thing about evaluating safety play, DJ, is that, well, you can't really, because oftentimes the safeties aren't even on the screen when we're looking at the broadcast angle. So sometimes I have access to all 22. Sometimes I don't, right? I wish I could for every LSU game. But for me, the safety is oftentimes the first thing a quarterback looks at before the snap begins. Okay. Obviously, good tackler. You got to be a good tackler to be a safety. But the biggest thing, honestly, is, so much of it is mental, right? So much of safety is mental. Understanding the game, reading the game, so on and so on. And communication. Your safety makes a lot of calls, right? How you react after those calls are important. Sometimes you're making a check and the ball is snapped. So we'll see. So we've been going live for about, well over 2 hours. Normally I do this about the hour and a half mark. It just flies by. I could go all night, but I will keep this thing going for just a little bit longer. I'll answer as many questions as I possibly can in the next 4-ish 5 minutes. If you do super chat, let's just say you're just joining us, we'll keep this thing going. The more super chats, the better. It helps our channel grow. Super chats are very much loved at this time. I know it's really dry. It's the middle of the off season. Live stream numbers have been really good. I appreciate you guys making this the absolute funnest, best LSU football channel on the mother freaking planet. Thank you guys so freaking much. Okay. So any LSU football related questions, I also dive into different topics. If you guys have different topics you want to get into, more often than not, it's sports related. We'll talk comedy, whatever you want to talk about, we'll get to it. Jojo Earl. Brooks is going to be special in this defense. Brooks Koepka, I don't know. Marcel Brooks. Let's see. Or rub the boss's back. Very important. Tell the fam I said hello, Skip. See you, my man. So you want to make sure I don't miss anybody. Fan is short for fanatic. Hey, that's fine. I always say this: be yourself. If you're a sky is falling LSU fan, that's fine. I don't judge you, but it's a miserable way to live. Notre Dame fans are not worth the extra millions. Good to see you, Roger Dodger. Oh, Brooks, the transfer. Yeah, let's do it. Arkansas transfer, of course, the nickel. Yeah, I think he's going to start there. I also think Sage Ryan is going to push him. But for me, Greg Brooks is going to be the guy. Obviously, a Louisiana native. Very excited about that. Now, special. Hope you're right. Hope you're right. Let me ask you this, Doug and Kyle. Are you thinking he is going to be like, I don't know, like Jalen Mills good, or we'll see. And by the way, my brain is fried. I was like, Brooks, let me see. Because I thought you were referencing Marcel Brooks at first. And I was like, I'm playing more on this team. I was like, he's playing wide receiver now, last I checked. Rudy Gobert trade. I kind of get it from Minnesota standpoint. I know a lot of people are trashing the trade, but with Ant on the deal that they got him on with, they're going to max him and all that stuff. Minnesota's not a sexy free agent destination. So you kind of have to take risk. They knew with what they had, they weren't going to go anywhere, especially in the West. I understand Rudy isn't a playoff guy, and I totally get it. But they're just taking a risk, a swing and a miss, an all or nothing kind of thing. I'm kind of fine with it, even though I don't think it's going to work out. It could be a vicious overpay. It probably is. Probably not going to work out, but I see why they did it. Like Tyrann Mathieu Light, he's going to cause turnovers and play well at a much lower rate. Man, I hope you're right. I do. So here's what I thought about Greg Brooks throughout the spring. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's pretty solid, right? Made a lot of plays. It showed off some really good ball skills. You go watch our spring breakdowns. I also like that him and Joe went to Arkansas, played well, and worked their way back to Louisiana. And they're getting their dream of playing in Tiger Stadium. It's really cool. The Badger. Yes and no about this, Billy. I don't want that to be done now. At some point, there will be one done. But I do think it's not going to land as well now as it will later, because most of your sports movies that come out now and these sports shows that come out now are about like icons. Now, Joe Burrow's an icon to us, but he's still currently playing, right? Whereas most of like the movie documentary stuff is Showtime Lakers and the Bulls, even though it's a more Last Dance, more of a documentary or whatever. A lot of this stuff is like like older legacy. Let's give this team our flowers kind of stuff. So I'm perfectly fine on the Joe Burrow movie being made down the road, if there is a movie. Who plays Edo in the movie? Oh, come on. That's easy. It's easy. McConaughey, baby. It's got to be McConaughey. I could see him gaining the weight, getting where he is. I could see Christian Bale. Christian Bale. Let's go. What transfers are you most excited about? I like this question. Honestly, Greg Brooks and Joe Fuchsia. LSU needed help at those positions in particular. So the secondary obviously is going to be the most important transfer portal position. We haven't spent too much time, Shane, talking about Tremont Shorts and Miles Frazier. We should spend more time talking about him, but we shall see. Grant Delpit, good. Ooh. I hope you're right. That's true, Kyle. They did do some of the most boneheaded things you'll ever see. And some of that is, celebrating a play-in victory as like the be all end all. Kevin James is Edo. Not if he just played Sean Payton. That's kind of a tough thing. So, quick story on McConaughey. I've seen McConaughey at an LSU game. In fact, I was standing right next to him at an LSU game. And to get ready for We Are Marshall, he actually went to LSU and spoke to Dale Brown about being a coach, how to act as a coach. What are some of the things? True story. I know it's like the weirdest factoid, but he did. He went to Dale Brown, and I think Cody Worstrom wrote the story a million years ago. McConaughey went to an LSU football game as part of his studying for the role. Now he always goes to Texas games, so still. Joe, I could see that being sped up, but the way the television contracts work, I think they're going to wait till 2025. Kevin Durant. Let's see. I excuse because he's 20, but Towns, I don't know, he gets too emotional and his BYQ is definitely lacking. Yes and no, I guess. I don't know. I don't want you to have T-Wolves. Jarek Bernard Converse, I'm down. Sylvester Stallone as Coach O. Maybe, but Stallone's up there in age, right? Sylvester Stallone is 75. But this is interesting. Okay. I did not know John C. Riley, Blake Clark, Farmer Fred. Who is it? Let me see. Oh, yeah, but that's Kevin James. Paul Blart. He was Sean Payton, so he can't be Coach O. So I just looked this up. Can somebody tell me the one thing Stallone and Ed Orgeron have in common? There's one big thing. There's one big thing that they have in common. Who wins in a fight between Jackie Chan and a prime Mickey from Rocky? Oh, Jackie Chan. That's easy, Derek. You take a break from all those underdog fantasy drafts. By the way, if you guys go sign up for Underdog Fantasy, promo code Carter, get your boy a little bonus action. Okay. I just looked this up. I did not know this about Sylvester Stallone. Maybe Leon knows this about Sylvester Stallone. I don't know if Leon's still in here. What is the one thing him and Coach O share in common? They both went to Miami. That's interesting. I didn't know Sylvester Stallone was a Hurricane. Miami's got a crazy grad history. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Sylvester Stallone, Alex Rodriguez, all these Miami U football players. It's wild. Wild. Type J for Jackie Chan, type M for Mickey. Eric, are you kidding me? Why do you say Jackie Chan? So, can someone explain to me the Bitcoin thing? Like, I maybe I should just go buy Bitcoin now that it's so down. Mm. Before the cutoff. Wait, I didn't know there was a cutoff. Jet Li? How bad does Bama smash Aggie? I don't know. I hadn't even thought about that game. Oh, did the Superflex puppy already in? Oh, dang. It did. I didn't know that ended today. Dang. I would have liked to have gotten a lot more exposure into that. I've been so focused on building the Patreon stuff. Dang, I wanted to do a few more. I love the Superflex puppy. I just love Underdog. I really do. ATH from the 704. I wish I could say the same about Bam this year, but y'all are so good. You need my good season. Well wishes. So Derek is probably a little bit more qualified to answer this than me. I've never played a season-long super flex fantasy. In redraft, I could see it being a little bit different in dynasty, but I'm mostly a one quarterback guy. I did enjoy super flex best ball, but yeah, I do think it is a little bit different. When you look at like different metrics. Let me see. All right, Caucus. I will see you on Tuesday. And everybody have a great 4th of July for sure. It's tomorrow. Or no, tomorrow's Sunday. 4th of July is Monday. Superflex is easier to keep people sticking around. 2 quarterback mandatory may push. Yeah, so there is a difference between a 2 QB and a Superflex, right? A 2 QB mandatory, I wouldn't do that. I would do one quarterback and one super flex, but still all the quarterbacks are going to go off the board early. So that's why I just like one quarterback, because I do think there is a little bit more strategy involved with that. So we'll see. Doug, we shall see you later. So there you go. Well, all right, guys and gals, thank you guys so much for making this a super fun live stream. We will have a video out tomorrow for the Joshua Mickens commitment. Let's go ahead and pull up Mickens' profile right here. So this will be the young man committing tomorrow. Boom. Right there. Now, what time does he commit? At noon tomorrow. So there you go. But LSU might have another commitment tomorrow. So I will probably drop the video early tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that. I actually never looked at what time he was actually going to announce his commitment. So really excited about that young man committing to LSU tomorrow. Hopefully he does end up committing to LSU tomorrow. It is Power Hour LSU. Boom. And tonight, oh, we're doing chicken tenders. Let's go.